This year's U.S. presidential contest appears to be coming down to a choice between one candidate who offers to shake up the establishment and another promising stability.
There could be renewed hope for the rescue of Nigeria's Chibok girls, abducted over 2 years ago. Boko Haram releases a new video of the girls and wants to negotiate an exchange deal.
And 4 soccer teams hold a special tournament in Kenya to promote peace in South Sudan. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello and welcome. I'm Cynthia Are, Channels Television here in Lagos. Stay with us in the next half hour for stories from Nigeria and the continent.
Well, I'm Vincent McCory of Voice of America, coming to you from our global headquarters in Washington. Now we go next to Malawi. Malawi has grappled with severe drought.
Now, there may be renewed hope for the rescue of over 200 Chibok girls abducted from their school over 2 years ago. In a new video released by Boko Haram of the girls, the terrorist group is asking for a swap deal where its detained members are released in exchange for the girls. But for the military, the search continues for these girls.
Another glaring evidence that some of the over 200 girls abducted from their boarding school in Chibok exactly 2 years and 4 months ago are still alive. Dejection and forlorn looks are etched on their faces.
Our people should show mercy. They should tell the government to release their people so that they can also free us.
For 2 years, they've been with us. We want to pass this message across to the people that their children are still with us. If you don't release our people, we will not release the girls.
Trade-off notwithstanding, the military says it's not relenting on its crackdown operations against insurgency.
The feat that we have so far recorded will be accelerated as day passes by. We are making a lot of successes. We are in Sambisa now. We are carrying out crackdown operations in Sambisa, and all those Boko Haram's camps and whatever have been completely destroyed.
The Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast, which began in 2009, has killed thousands of people and displaced over 2 million more. The release of these missing girls and the complete decimation of the terror group will bring relief after more than 7 years of a campaign of violence.
Now, the question is there really renewed hope for the return of the Chibok girls? Joining us to discuss that is security expert Chidi Nwonu. Chidi, thank you very much for joining us on Africa 54.
Thank you for having me.
Now, how authentic do you think this video is?
I would say that the probability that it's authentic is quite high. I mean, there's many indicators that show that it is a video released by Boko Haram. It came through the normal channels that they use to give out their videos. They've shown the hostages, which we know they have, so that constitutes a definite proof of life. Also, experts who are familiar with their voice patterns have authenticated that these are people who they've communicated with or whose voices normally appear on Boko Haram videos. So it seems fairly safe to say that this is an authentic video.
Chidi, do you think the authorities should follow through with the swap which the sect is asking for?
The answer to that is a little bit difficult because the pragmatic and military answer is no. If Nigeria releases these people, they're high-value prisoners, commanders, bomb makers, weapons experts. These are people who will increase Boko Haram's capability to fight. So releasing them is only going to help Boko Haram. Releasing the girls, again, will be beneficial for the girls, will be beneficial for Nigeria, will be beneficial for their parents. But in the grand scheme of things, in the prosecution of this war, this short-term pleasure we might get or short-term satisfaction we might get from the release of the Chibok abductees will be outweighed by the consequences of releasing high-value, skilled, committed terrorists back to Boko Haram.
So what advice would you give to the authorities as regards how to handle this matter so it does not backfire?
The only way that the government can extricate any kind of a positive out of this situation is to change the game, to change the narrative. Boko Haram currently controls the narrative by dictating that, by obviously holding the girls and by dictating the terms for their release. The government needs to change that by telling Boko Haram that the first thing they want is a comprehensive list of every single captive that Boko Haram has. We need a program or a plan whereby you will begin to release every single hostage you've taken, and that's they need to change it from bring back our girls to bring back all our girls, bring back all our boys. Boko Haram should not be allowed to dictate to us who they hold and who they release. The key thing is to take control back from Boko Haram and change the narrative that all lives or all Nigerian lives matter.
Some analysts say this is a diversion tool to distract the authorities from the fight against terror. Do you agree?
That is exactly correct. Boko Haram, this is again relates back to my former answer. Boko Haram is currently being defeated. So this video helps them to divert the attention of the military, push the military away from the general counteroffensive which they're undertaking, and to direct assets and resources towards, finding the GSS Chibok abductees, which, again, while it might satisfy us as a country, it does not serve our overall military objectives. There is virtually no military in the world that could rescue these girls without killing a huge number of them. So on that count, we have to give the Nigerian armed forces a break. They're doing the best they can. Where we have to look at is strategically how the government is handling this crisis as a whole, rather than how this individual isolated incident is being handled.
Well, security expert Chidunwonu, thank you so much for joining us today on Africa 54.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we go next to Malawi. Malawi has grappled with severe drought and flooding during the past year, and over 6 million people have been left in need of food aid. But now, small vegetable gardens are cropping up around the capital thanks to a new initiative called the Victory Garden Campaign. Lamek Masina has the story from Lilongwe.
Edson Kumbani, a villager in the Likuni area of the capital, created this garden after last year's maize harvest failed. Like most farmers in Malawi, his family has long relied on maize as its main source of food. But now he grows tomatoes, sweet potatoes, mustard, cassava, pumpkin and beans. His wife helps.
Now I have even stopped asking my husband about food whenever he leaves the house. I just enter the garden and pick whatever food I need for the family and cook it.
Kumbani started his garden with help from an anti-hunger initiative by the US-based charity Face to Face.
What we want to do is roll out our solution, our Victory Garden solution, our solution of changing the way that Malawians think about farming and thinking about food, so that Malawi can break the cycle of poverty and end the continuing hunger that always seems to plague this country.
About 22,000 families in Likuni, Sabango and Mitundu areas are benefiting from the campaign. Each person that gets the training teaches 25 other people.
We teach them that for any family to be healthy, it should first of all have enough food to achieve that. They should have enough manure for the garden, and we also encourage them to plant fruit trees.
The initiative chose plants that can get by on less water. The drought is not over in Malawi, and some villagers still have to walk a long way to get water. Despite the challenge, the seeds of change are being planted. Lamek Masina for VOA News, Lilongwe.
Well, we want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, more on Boko Haram. People displaced by the terror group are returning home, but they have dire needs for food and shelter. That story after the break.
I am Sheka Sali, host and senior editor of VOA's international call-in talk show, Straight Talk Africa.
Today we'll examine the tobacco industry.
We pretty much touch on anything that you can think of. Politics, health issues, human rights issues, you name it, we talk about it. The issues that we discuss are pertinent to most people on the African continent. A very, very rare and unique opportunity to interact with their leaders.
Now, with the return of peace to communities previously under Boko Haram control, many displaced persons are returning to their homes, but they have acute humanitarian needs for food, water and shelter. Foreign aid from the United States and other donor agencies is helping, as we see in this next report by Channels television correspondent Blessing Tuna, as voiced by Ayotunde Balogun.
Not too long ago, these indigents of Mainok in Borno State were scampering for safety owing to attacks by terror group Boko Haram. But at the moment, they are back to their communities to start life all over. Thousands of them who were previously displaced have been returning home, but the lack of basic necessities such as food, shelter, water and other needs make it difficult to return to their normal lives. The dire humanitarian situation in the northeast region continues to draw the attention of local and international donors who are assisting the state government in its reconstruction, rehabilitation and resettlement process.
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation donated cash of $1 million to the Borno State government. It is the state government that carried out the procurements and the implementation of this particular intervention in partnership with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The intervention is targeting returning and resettling communities by giving them food aid and also helping them to return to their familiar ways of producing food for themselves and for commercial purposes.
Homeless and hungry, the people receive the food assistance with joy.
We are grateful. We have never received any kind of help since we returned. We only hear about it until today. We thank Bill and we pray for him.
This food aid from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation comes after a pledge of $37 million by the United States government for people affected by insurgency. And the government is clear about how the funds will be utilized.
The intervention from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is being used for food supplies and to fund farming activities for households. Already farms have been established in Konduga and Tambua, and each household is to be allocated not only till and fertile land, but also improved variety of seeds, fertilizer, chemicals, and most importantly, technical field supervision.
According to the governor, rebuilding plans revolve around supporting the returnees to continue with their agrarian lifestyle, with the allocation of lands to families, targeting at least 200 households.